Hi folks, welcome to the Wade and Shiggy Show. I'm Wade, and tonight we're going to be talking about a pressing issue that's been floating all over Twitter, YouTube, Facebook recently. And it happened Sunday. And if you haven't heard about it, well, you can find a video on YouTube somewhere. I know CNN's got it buzzing. But it's about the man who was forcibly dragged off of the United Airlines plane. If you want some backstory to it, what it was the plane was overbooked. And they didn't have enough to put their crew on. So what happened was it tried to look for volunteers, and when they couldn't find enough volunteers, hell, even the airline, from what this is saying, the airline actually was offering $800 to skip the flight and move on to the next one because it was just so overbooked. What happened was the airline just couldn't take it no more. So they just started selecting passengers at random to the plane. One of them happened to be the doctor that was shown on the video that was forcibly dragged out of his seat by the police. And in the video, it shows that he's forcibly pulled out of his seat, drugged from the plane. He was bleeding. It was just I find it to be it was very disturbing to watch myself. The man, here's the thing I have on the opinion of this issue. It's just the fact that you think that the airlines would be smart enough to know how many people they could fit on one plane at a time, especially with the repositioning crew on it. Because if they do this on a constant basis, then why did they run into this issue? It's amazing to me. Now, I get it, if you don't have enough people, you kind of have to get people off the plane, but for law enforcement to rip this guy out of his own seat, I didn't see. The video was cut short on how many opportunities he had to leave his seat. But I will say this, though. If they just automatically ripped him out of his seat without even giving him an opportunity to leave his seat, then I would be having more of an issue because law enforcement didn't give him the opportunity to move. They just ripped him out of his seat and drug him down the plane, which he was a bloody mess. It was disgusting. It really was. Now, if they gave him at least 2 or 3 opportunities to get out of his seat and he didn't, that's a different story. Because you're giving him an opportunity at getting out of the seat and he doesn't want to. Now, I don't agree with the plane. I don't agree with United Airlines at all selecting random people to get off the plane. That, in my opinion, pardon my language, is bullshit. You should not be picking random people all because you overbooked your plane when you should know for a fact how many people fit on that plane at a time. Even with the repositioning crew, there's no way you run into that issue. You shouldn't run into that issue. Now I understand it's an airport. They have various flights coming in and out every day. I get that. I understand that. But it's your job. It's your job to know how many people get on a plane every day. It's your job to know how many people get on that plane every day. Excuse me. I just got done eating wings myself. And for me, Flight 34, Flight 3411, they released a statement, United Airlines. I'll read it to you guys right now. It states that Flight 3411 from Chicago to Louisville, was overbooked. After our team looked for volunteers, one customer refused to leave the aircraft voluntarily, and law enforcement was asked to come to the gate. We apologize for the overbooked situation. Further details on the removed customers should be directed to authorities. So, I'm looking at that like they're trying to cover their own ass. Basically, that's all that is. Now, I get... that's the one thing about United that I understand. Or any airline in that matter. If you go looking for volunteers, okay. I don't have a problem with that idea because, you know, sometimes you have that issue with overbooking. It's understandable. I mean, if you go asking for volunteers, but yet nobody volunteers, I don't think it's right to select random people to take off the plane. But the thing is about that, though, they should. If you are doing, I'm trying to word this right. If you are going to remove people randomly from a select flight, they should have the next flight for free. Now, hear me out on this. They already paid for their ticket, right? And their ticket's probably a good $500, $600, depending on how far the flight is. Personally, in my opinion, if you randomly select somebody, like, for example, you pick Joe Schmo, who needs to get, to his location by, like, say, a couple days from now, because he's got a long flight. And he's not happy about it. Well, you're telling me that if it's your issue, United, your issue, you can't file that they should be on the next flight automatically? Why not? They're a paying customer. They already paid for their ticket. Why not? I don't see really a problem with it, in my opinion. Especially if you're taking them off the flight that they already paid for. I mean, if you do something like that, along the lines of that, you wouldn't really run into that problem. Now, you may run into some problems later on with overbooking on other flights, but at the same point in time, you should be able to realize how many people go on a plane like that. Now, I understand you're in an airport and you have so many flights coming in and out every single day. And it's hard to keep track of what plane holds what, because not every plane's the same. But it's your job. I repeat it because it's true. It's your job to know these things. It's your job to make sure people get to their destinations safely. And for law enforcement to just drag this man from his seat and out of there, especially when he was a bloody mess, that was overkill in my opinion. One, he's a paying customer. He paid a good amount of money for his ticket. You really think he's going to want to leave? No. If anything, just let him go on his flight. Why you got to rip him out of it? I don't. Like, you pick the flighters at random, and it's like, you're probably 9 out of 10, you're gonna run into that problem. It was bound to happen. Now, with that statement there, it's just covering their own ass, in my opinion. Yeah, they looked for volunteers, but it really depends. How long did they look for volunteers? They never really released that much information. Now, I imagine if you go watch CNN or MSNBC or NBC, you're going to find more answers to these questions. Like, how long did they look for volunteers? Did they really offer $800 to people who would get off the plane? If you offer me $100, I might have gotten off and waited, depending on how long I would have waited. And did law enforcement give the man enough opportunities to get out of his seat? It's questions that need to be answered, because to justify this as a outrage is kind of hard, because a lot of these questions are not answered. Yet, I'll admit, I did not like seeing the man getting drug out of his seat. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I did not like the man getting drug out of his seat. I thought that was overkill. When you could easily have just arrested the man, handcuff his legs, and picked him up and drug him out. There's no reason for him to have been a bloody mess getting out of that plane. That was overkill, in my opinion. I mean, guys, I'm not pro, I'm not negative. I'm a realist. In my honest opinion, there's two sides to every coin. There's the good points, and there are the bad points to every situation. Now, the good points here are the dude got drug out of his seat. Depending on how many times did the cops ask him to get out of his seat, that either tells me if the cops were a little too harsh or they did it just right. Now, dragging him out of his seat like that was not right. That was very much brutality. But some criminals in this world, I'm not saying all, some criminals in this world, they deserve police brutality. This man, this doctor, definitely didn't deserve it. He didn't do anything, in my opinion. The video didn't even show that he didn't do anything. He was just sitting in his seat like a normal passenger, and then he was just selected at random and then drug out of his seat. Now, I'm not dogging on the police department. I highly respect what they do. I do. I honestly do. And I do admit, sometimes it does call for it, sometimes it don't. That's why, in my opinion, being a police officer is one of the hardest things to do, because you have to make a point and decision like that. You have to make a decision like that, whether you kill a man or you arrest a man. Because sometimes you can kill an innocent person, but on other times you can kill a heavily armed criminal. And some people don't even see it that way. Some people think, oh, well, this cop killed this guy. Oh, this cop killed this guy. Outrage. Really? Now, I'm not saying people on Twitter, you go outraging like crazy, but you have to look at it from the airlines and the police's point of views. They have to get this flight out at a certain time. Yes, there is such a thing as delays, and that's probably what they ran into. But if the airline gave them an opportunity, volunteered, paid them $800, which is what this says here in this article, that they were giving people $800 to leave the plane nonetheless. Which I never known an airline to do that before. That's new to me. But we're not going to go there. And I don't agree with picking people at random. That just seems like a bold, dumb, stupid move to me. That literally is saying to me that the airline had no choice but to rip people out of the plane for no reason. Now, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with people getting ripped out of the plane for no reason. Especially when you paid the ticket for that time to leave that airport. But they had to get the plane off. And in my opinion, I would have done it like this. Honestly. I would have delayed it to the point where people would just have to say, you know what? Screw it. I'm leaving the plane. Honestly, because that would have worked. Yeah, you have to delay it for a long period of time. But people are going to be tired from sitting on that plane for so long that they're just going to say, screw it. We got to get off. We're just going to go on a different plane. And you would have gotten the plane moving. But at the same note, you're blocking airplanes from getting in. So, guys, honestly, there really isn't a honest answer on how an airline should really handle a situation. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head how an airline should handle it. Because no matter what you do, you're going to run into a problem no matter what. Other than the fact that the airline should know for a damn fact how many people can fit on a plane at a time. So, in my honest opinion on this issue, on who's really at fault here, I blame the airline at fault. Because they should know how many people can go on a plane at a time and take off. And then they bring in law enforcement, and then they just select people at random. It's like, really? Why are we selecting people at random here? That makes no sense. I don't know, folks. All I know is this went way too far than it should have, and now it's all over the internet. For all us to see, nothing better than a doctor getting drug out of a plane and he ends up like a bloody mess. Unreal. Is this really what our world has come to? Just stuff like this? I mean, come on. Is this really what we're coming to, folks? The fact that now we have people getting drug out of planes at random for no reason. All because the airline can't figure out how many people can go on a fucking plane at a time? Really? Now, I feel bad for the doctor because he didn't, in my honest opinion, in the video, he didn't do nothing wrong here. He literally sat there like a quiet passenger, minding his own business, and then the airline just selects him at random and drags him off the plane. Like, you can't blame the passenger on this. You can't. You honestly can't. Because if you do, I'm going to look at you like you're goddamn stupid. So, that's my honest opinion on this. On Flight 3411 from United Airlines. I hope that United Airlines gives this man some kind of money, leniency, something, because this guy didn't deserve nothing. He didn't do no harm. He literally was just sitting there waiting to go back either home or wherever he was going. It was an embarrassment. That airline embarrassed him for no reason whatsoever, other than the fact that the airline can't fucking handle how to run an airport the right way. You know, even watching the video now, it was just terrible. I didn't like it. And is this really what our world's coming to? I don't know, folks. But I'm gonna end the video here. Please leave a like below if you like this video. Please comment with your opinions on this issue, this video that happened Sunday, and now it's all over the internet. People are outraged. Me, I'm not happy about it myself because it was just terrible. It was a terrible situation that happened that could have been easily avoided. And if you guys want to, please subscribe for more content. I am going to be busting out videos every single day that I possibly can. Tomorrow, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I will figure out on the long run. Thank you guys for watching, and for everybody, and especially for that doctor. That man definitely needs it. For everybody here, stay classy, folks.